DeFi. What are its applications and should you invest in it? Decentralized finance already includes dozens of different financial applications, and more will inevitably develop in the years to come. After all, the only limit to what DeFi could accomplish is how well the smart contract is crafted. In our previous video on DeFi, we explained to you the concept of DeFi, how it works, and its pros and cons. However, to further understand DeFi, in this video, we'll identify the most common use cases and whether or not you should invest in DeFi. The majority of DeFi apps are developed on Ethereum, the world's second largest cryptocurrency platform, which differs from Bitcoin in that it is easier to use to construct different sorts of decentralized applications beyond basic transactions. These more complicated financial use cases were originally mentioned in the first Ethereum white paper by Ethereum founder Vitalik Buterin back in 2013. That's because Ethereum's smart contract technology, which executes transactions automatically if specific criteria are satisfied, provides a lot more freedom. Solidity, an Ethereum programming language, is particularly built for generating and deploying smart contracts. Let's imagine a user wants money delivered to a buddy next Tuesday, but only if the temperature rises beyond 90 degrees Fahrenheit, as predicted by weather.com. The smart contract may be used to write such rules. Hundreds of DeFi apps run on Ethereum, with smart contracts at their heart, some of which are discussed below. Ethereum 2.0, a planned upgrade to Ethereum's underlying network, may help these apps by addressing Ethereum's scalability difficulties. Let's look at some of the most popular DeFi apps. Stablecoins are a key component to DeFi, allowing fiat currencies like the US dollar and other assets to be represented as digital tokens on the blockchain. A stablecoin is a digital representation of an underlying asset that uses different strategies to maintain a one-to-one peg with it. Because of the need for relative stability in the frequently unpredictable cryptocurrency markets, the total value of all stablecoins has surpassed $100 billion. Fiat-backed stablecoins, decentralized stablecoins, and algorithmic stablecoins are all examples of stablecoin designs that try to give different assurances for keeping their peg. Fiat-backed stablecoins are backed by off-chain collateral and reflect fiat currency on the blockchain. TrueUSD, or TUSD, is an example of a US dollar stablecoin backed by USD in an off-chain bank account, with ongoing on-chain audits attesting to its one-to-one collateralization via Chainlink proof of reserve. For enhanced resilience and transparency, decentralized stablecoins are frequently provided as over-collateralized loans utilizing crypto collateral. Changes in interest rates keep the peg in place, encouraging more or less borrowing. Algorithmic stablecoins use a variety of crypto-economic strategies to keep their value stable. The DeFi protocol, for example, effectively acts as an algorithmic central bank, maintaining the peg on the open market through a process known as reweighting. Users can create the stablecoin DeFi with the ETH deposit, which is then added to the protocol's reserve and utilized as protocol-controlled value, PCV. All assets that aren't redeemed by users are represented by PCV. PCV is used to purchase DeFi on the open market to push the price up if DeFi is trading below the peg, and additional DeFi is minted and sold on the open market to push the price down if DeFi is trading above the peg. Decentralized exchanges, DEX. Without having to monitor centralized exchange listings, decentralized exchanges allow any developer creating a token to instantaneously access liquidity and vast current user populations. Users can exchange digital tokens without the requirements for a centralized entity, instead of communicating via permissionless and non-custodial smart contracts. Automated market makers, AMM, a subclass of DEXs, substantially modify the process underlying electronic exchange and are one of the most significant decentralized financial developments. Rather than employing a standard central limit order book, CLOB, where the exchange is matching engine pairs, buy and sell orders, both sides of the trade are pre-funded using on-chain liquidity pools. Users and other smart contracts can quickly swap between the tokens in a two-sided pool. For example, the ETH USDC pool comprises ETH and USDC tokens in an automated and non-custodial way using liquidity pools. Any user may become a liquidity provider and earn passive money from trading fees generated by members swapping inside the pool. AMMs or AMs provide for rapid liquidity for any digital token, since the price is established by an algorithm rather than transactions in an order book. AMS-based DEXs have helped greatly to price discovery in what would otherwise be illiquid markets, since they are freely accessible to everyone with an internet connection. AMs like SushiSwap, Bancore and others have seen massive increases in trading volume, user numbers and the value locked into their liquidity pools. They are poised to attract more capital in the future thanks to continuing improvements in capital efficiency, more configurable liquidity provision settings, and new means of limiting temporary loss. Decentralized money markets. Money markets are one of the most important aspects of a well-functioning economy. They are platforms that link borrowers and lenders. A considerable proportion of economic activity is generated by the opportunity to borrow cash and earn a return on idle capital. Centralized companies have long facilitated money markets, giving them substantial control over this important section of the global economy and the monies moving through it. Decentralized money markets enable users to borrow and lend digital tokens using blockchain-based smart contracts in a permissionless way without custodians. These decentralized money marketplaces are governed by open source code that is managed by a community of distributed stakeholders, democratizing the supply and demand side. Because of their non-custodial nature, which lowers single points of failure, applications like Aave, Compound and Cream have seen tens of billions of dollars of value travel via their protocols. Over-collateralization is used in decentralized money markets, where customers are obliged to deposit more collateral than they plan to borrow. They then employ Oracle-supplied on-chain price feeds to compute customers' current collateralization ratio, which is used to issue fair market loans, liquidate under-collateralized positions, and calculate interest payments. Synthetic assets. Financial instruments that derive their value from an underlying asset or benchmark are known as synthetic assets. E.g., synthetic gold tracks the price of gold. The construction of these types of financial instruments has traditionally been the domain of major institutions, as a high level of trust is essential given the amount of money at stake. Anyone may design an open-source financial primitive that is available to the public and gives solid assurances for its intended execution using DeFi permissionless architecture. Access to high-quality tamper-proof price data is a critical part of the security of blockchain-based synthetic assets. Oracles are key infrastructure for providing valid on-chain valuations when it comes to these blockchain-based assets, because the administration of synthetic assets and the settlement of swaps is dictated by external data sources for an underlying asset. Yield farming. Yield farming, also known as liquidity mining, is a novel DeFi primitive that may be used to incentivize liquidity for a project, establish a fair token distribution, and develop an active and long-lasting community. Users that offer liquidity or otherwise contribute to the health of the decentralized protocol are rewarded with yield farming incentives. Yield farming's two major purposes are to incentivize users to kickstart usage of the project or to distribute freshly released tokens with protocol governance rights to a decentralized group of participants. Yield farming is an effective strategy to jumpstart a DeFi ecosystem by nurturing a network effect, bootstrapping supply-side liquidity for a project, and forming a community of stakeholders made up mostly of protocol users. Yield farming incentives take numerous forms, depending on the specific aims of each project, but they frequently include utilizing existing infrastructure to create unique compensation systems that are most successful at accomplishing their goals. DApp developers have a lot of leeway in terms of the protocol settings they want to utilize in their liquidity mining schemes to inject their environment with a tightly knit community of active stakeholders. Should you invest in DeFi? I must first issue a disclaimer before answering this question. This is not financial advice because I am not a financial consultant. This is my own opinion, not financial advice. Before investing in any of the various cryptocurrencies available, please conduct your research and due diligence. This is created to help you easily understand the topic with our animated explanations. Through the advancement of distributed ledger technology, we are witnessing a quantum jump in the new functionality of money. For the first time in history, the people of the globe are sharing a global financial system. Everyone may participate in DeFi protocol governance and have a seat at the table where the world of decentralized finance is being constructed. Despite some of the challenges that comes with working on the cutting edge of innovation, the world of decentralized banking is on the road to success. When the capacity to construct financial services is democratized, it's impossible to forecast how this field will evolve.